Hey guys, I'm currently out here by the ocean in Busan. Let me show you. There's a small garden there and you can see the ocean in the background. And basically, I just wanted to take some time to talk to you about the importance of protecting your time, because I think a lot of people are actually not that aware of all the downsides of not keeping track of your time well. I mean, of course, all of us have heard that, time is our only non-renewable resource and you can always make more money, you cannot make more time and all of that stuff. But I'm gonna spare you that lecture for now and talk about some of the more immediate effects that you might not be aware of. For example, one situation that probably all of us indie hackers have run into at least once or twice is a random message arriving in our inbox, which is like, hey, cool product, do you have time for like a short talk, maybe 20 minutes, have a call? And I wanted to explain to you why these 20 minutes are actually not just 20 minutes. Because you may think like, okay, I can take 20 minutes, it's not that much, I have some time today. But actually the kind of work we're doing takes a lot of focus. So if you think about a graph, like the productivity you have, it takes some time to get up to 100% productivity and maybe even get into a kind of flow state. So if you have like a random call in the middle of that, it's not like you're gonna go on the call and then come back and then continue right where you left off. Actually, you're getting completely ripped out of what you were doing. And then once the call ends, you're gonna get back to the work you were doing, but you're gonna realize that you cannot really focus right away and it takes some time to get back into things. Where did I leave off? And your mind is still thinking about different things. So maybe it takes like 15 minutes or maybe even 20 or 30 minutes until you're back to that peak productivity state that you've left off before. So instead of 20 minutes spent on a short call, you actually wasted like an hour that you could have spent being productive. And I don't know about you, but the few calls I've had, I never felt after like that was super worth it. It always feels like a meeting at work where you don't really have a clear target and you have a talk and it's nice, but it didn't really move your business in the right direction. So for me, I've decided that I'll just completely stop doing calls. If there's something to discuss, you can feel free to put that information in the email itself, but I'm not gonna take 20, 30 minutes out of my day just to have a quick chat. I'm not saying you shouldn't take time for people and maybe call your friends or family. This is more about like these random encounters and people saying, hey, we should connect or that kind of stuff. For me, my new rule is that I just don't do that kind of stuff. And because it's my rule, it's also nothing personal and I don't have to feel bad. I don't have to say like, I don't want to meet with you. I don't have to make that person feel bad. I can just say, it's nothing personal. I just don't do calls. You can feel free to keep messaging me by email or whatever we're doing right now. But I'm not gonna take time out of my day to have a one-on-one synchronous call. And this actually leads into another topic that I wanted to talk about. Because before I always had to decide like, is it worth it? Am I gonna have a call with this person? Maybe yes with this person, maybe no with that person. And you end up having to make a lot of decisions. And actually in the morning when you wake up, you have a lot of mental energy to make these decisions. But over time, that kind of energy declines. So it's harder for you to make these kinds of decisions. This is known as decision fatigue. And I'm trying to avoid wasting my decision energy on these kinds of not that crucial tasks. Maybe some of you know that YouTuber Matt Diavella, who actually took it a little bit further and he ended up wearing the same clothes every day, just like a plain black t-shirt and some pants, because he didn't want to waste his mental energy on making these decisions every morning and rather spend it on their most important tasks. So that's what I'm doing as well. I'm not doing calls and I'm spending that energy on furthering my business, and I feel really good with my decision. So I invite you to maybe also think what are the most important tasks that you have to work on and what should you spend your energy on. I'm pretty sure you've had these situations where it's like the afternoon, maybe 4 p.m. and you just feel drained and you didn't even get to your most important tasks yet, maybe your creative projects, and you're like, okay, let me continue tomorrow. But that's just a waste of your time if you use your most productive hours on these kinds of calls or just decisions in general, when you could spend them on what actually matters to your business. And lastly, we simply do not have that many hours in the day if we want to get everything in, including cooking and working out. And a lot of you still have their 9 to 5, but even if not, maybe you have just your own business, but things are getting busier as you get more successful. So you really have to start being a little bit ruthless about your time and stop feeling bad about it. For me, there's so many things going on now, and I get so many random direct messages on X, for example, or emails of people asking me stuff, or can you try my product, or can you tweet about this, or that kind of stuff. And if I take the time to reply to each and every one of them and maybe do what they're asking me to do, I'm losing time that I could spend on other things. In periods where I get super busy, I barely even have time to take care of myself, and I don't want to sacrifice going to the gym or spending time with my family or loved ones just for these random asks that don't really matter in the long run. So take this as your permission to maybe just say no sometimes and protect your time more, and you will see that you have more energy, you're more creative. You can spend this energy on your business and maybe explore new things, build a new feature, do some more marketing. And I think you will realize that you end up spending your time in a much more useful way than otherwise. You know, I want to share a quote of an author that I really admire. Maybe you've heard of him. His name is Derek Sivers, and he wrote a book that's called Hell Yeah or No. And maybe you can already tell from the title. It's also about being much more selective about what you spend your time on. So his rule is basically when somebody makes him an offer, if he really feels like, hell yeah, I want to do that, then no problem, he's gonna do it. But if it's not hell yeah, it's not hell maybe or whatever, it's just no. So basically, if somebody comes up to you and says like, yeah, let's have a call, or let's connect, or let's do this, let's do that. If you don't feel like, yeah, I really want to do that, or that's really gonna advance my business, then just say no. Your time is more valuable than that. And the side effect is that at some point down the line, you're gonna come across an opportunity where you're really like, hell yeah, I wanna go all in. And at that point, you will actually have the time to pursue that thing and give it your all. And that's really worth a lot. I think a lot of us have had that situation where an opportunity comes up and you're just like, I don't really have the time to pursue this right now. Maybe also specific to indie hackers, like a new technology comes out and you get this idea like, this could really be like a big thing. I want to build this new startup or try building this new product. And you're like, but I don't have the time. There's so much on my plate. I cannot spend the time to try this out. And this could be a really massive lost opportunity. But if you really try to protect your time and keep your calendar free, when these opportunities come along, you can just go and pursue them, and that might actually end up changing your life. And even if it's nothing actually life-changing, protecting your time allows you to spend some more time resting, maybe spend more time with your family, maybe just recover, pursue some hobbies, and just maybe shut down your brain for a little while, and then come back much more energized and ready to pursue what you actually want to be doing. So maybe just take some time and think about how you're actually using your time. Maybe there's some opportunities to save some time that could be spent on more important things. And maybe you could come up with your own rules that kind of save you from this decision fatigue. Like I'm not doing calls, maybe you have something that you're just not willing to do. And if this video actually causes a change in your life, I'd be super happy to hear about it. So feel free to leave a comment and let me know. So that was actually all I wanted to mention in this video. As you know, I'm still at the very beginning of my YouTube journey. So if you found this interesting, or you're in general interested in videos about indie hacking and starting your own company, then feel free to subscribe and leave a like. It would really help out a ton. And other than that, see you next week and keep shipping.